All right. How y'all doing today? My name is Amir Cooper. I'm here with,
Ethan Palmer.
and we will be interviewing today, man. What's your name?
Dr. McCreary.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Okay, Dr. McQuarrie. So my first question for you today is, why did you choose to teach in an HBCU?
I chose to teach at a HBCU because I believe that HBCUs give most students the realities of what they need to survive in the reality of the real world. All students, particular students from underrepresented groups, which are African Americans usually, but we HBCUs accept students of all, so I prepare all students for the realities of the real world, especially those from underrepresented groups.
All right, ma'am. And what you saying, preparing us for real world things. What are some situations and things that you like that you're actually preparing us for? Is it things like racism, or just is it things with jobs? Well, what does that consist of?
Both of the above, all of the above. Uh, Fortunately or unfortunately, your generation has grown up on the assumption of one America, and it's not one America. You can be successful as young gentlemen of color, but at the same time, you have to realize you got to be above reproach. You got to be twice as good. So I tell my students things they need to do to make sure that they are uh, capable candidates to stand out among all other applicants with the same degree from Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Valdosta State, Georgia College, or any college in that matter, for that fact. So prepare you for the reality of doing your best in the real world. Which means I talk to you about a little bit of everything from the way you dress, to the way you wear your hair, the way you talk, how you meet your boss man, and everything in between,
All right, ma'am.
as well as the subject matter.
And to piggyback off that, what other advices and like schemes do you give these students to get on the right path to succeed and even want to have the right drive to getting their assignments done?
Well, there's a commercial that comes on television from Smart Access in company. It says nobody does anything perfect the first time, the second time, or even the third times. You learn from your mistakes. And I always tell students or ask students who is Donna McClurkin. Donna McClurkin is the author of a song, "We Fall Down, but We Get Up." He said an angel is a sinner who fell down but who got up. So we make mistakes. The thing is to learn from your mistakes. I try to guide you in such a way that you hopefully your mistakes are minimal.
We appreciate you dearly, ma'am.
All right.
And another question is, during your upbringing, were you able to freely express yourself to people you grew up around, as in such like your parents or just friends in general?
So during my time, you can't express yourself free to your parents. Not during my time of growing up. But my parents raised me in such a way. I came up during the civil rights Jim Crow area. And whatever way my parents raised me, I participated in activities that perhaps other kids of color did not get to participate in. And my parents supported me.
And what are some of those activities and events?
Painting, going to, I live not too far from a college. I would write to college and ask could the black kids participate. And they say, yeah, my parents would take me. I want to take painting classes, some other classes I want to take. I was the only person of color in places where I went most time.
And growing up, where did you grow up, ma'am?
I grew up in North Carolina, not
Okay.
not even from Georgia.
Okay, then, and you say you think you did things like painting, and do you think that made you stand out in how you came up, and did people judge you for those type of things that you wanted to do around you, like your peers?
My peers. I don't know. I was really never concerned about my peers. I just did what I wanted to do most time within my parents' restrictions. And my parents, like I said, my parents supported my interests. They supported all our children's interests, my sisters and my brother's interests. So they weren't. My parents were a little bit unusual because most of my classmates were children of sharecroppers. My parents were not sharecroppers.
And how do you view mental health like in the black community? Do you think it's a major aspect that needs to be addressed considering people take their lives every day simply off stress and simply off dealing with things that they probably shouldn't?
Well, this goes to what I meant to say to you earlier about what advice I give to students. All students, but particular students of color, you need to know your history. A lot of you take things for granted that I did not have when I grew up. You take for granted to go check in a hotel, to go sit down in a restaurant. Couldn't do things like that when I was growing up. So know your history and understand so you can see the whole system that certain people are trying to put in play to keep you down. And what you have to do is find a way, as they say, to go through that mountain, over that mountain, or to knock that mountain down. Okay?
Okay, man, and that's something that we have been getting taught throughout our whole process of being in school right now, African diaspora. And our teacher is Dr. Pogue. She's informing us about how knowing our history, knowing our ancestors, and how much that like it plays a big role inside of
Yeah,
us.
they sacrifice a lot for the things you take for granted.
And
You
I
try on clothes in the store. I couldn't try on shoes. My dad had to trace my feet to buy me shoes. It's a lot. A lot of people died. Did you vote this time? Are you old enough to vote?
I wasn't.
Please vote. A lot of people died for you to be able to vote. Tell your classmates and friends they need to vote. That way
and,
you can get the other man out of office, Lord.
right. And I just did a research paper on Fannie Lou Hamer, and I seen the things that she did for the black community, and it was very empowering to me.
Mm-hmm. They treat that lady wrong, but she was a gift. She had a calling. She was a movement, and it took a lot of courage for her to do the things that she did,
And strength.
and strength and faith.
Come on, now. Can't do nothing without faith, y'all.
Mhm.
And what does being black in America mean to you? And when I say that, I,
Back to America, meaning.
I mean that like from your upbringing that you were just telling us about, and even current day, like what are the differences?
What being black in America, I don't know. My experiences have taught me, or at least I have learned, you can be anything that you want to be, but you have to learn how to play indirectly by the rules. I tell my students, all right, let's take you for example. Your hair is braided. You have a right to have your hair braided. Now, if you're in arts, music, theater, maybe sports, you can do that. But if you're in business, education, accounting, administration, that's not going to go. You got to get your foot in the door first. And right or wrong, most of corporate finances, the upper echelon of America, the companies are owned by majority. And the majority is not going to hire anybody that they think their customer base is not going to feel comfortable with, which means if you're going to work in finance, it's highly unlikely you're going to be able to have your hair braided. Okay. Now, when you get in there and they see what kind of work you do, you may be able to gradually wear your hair braided. But you got to get in the door first. Okay, so you got to get in the door, do whatever to get in the door first, and then let them see the quality of your work. And then you can begin to address, be yourself, your true self. Okay.
Yes, man. Do you think with being so that we have to have certain mannerisms or just carry ourselves a certain way, do you think that comes from any like post traumatic slave syndrome with it just being like they're intimidated by us, or it's like they're just like scared of what we have going on in general?
Racism is still alive and well. It's some places it's more under the cover, but it's still here. And you have, like I said, you got to be able to get your foot in the door to show your potential and your capabilities. So that means you're going to certain ways you're going to have to meet that norm to get your foot in the door. Okay. Yeah, I'm traumatized from slavery. There's post traumatic genetic inheritance from slavery, Jim Crow, segregation. You read articles scientifically, they talk about the effect of the Holocaust on the Jews, the effect of this war on Japanese people, slavery and Jim Crow has affected us. And I think, particularly for young African American males, I asked some of your classmates, some of your peers the other day, why do they wear their pants hanging down? When you know what it means, it sends a negative image of you as a black man. They already think black males are criminals and thugs. So why do some of you all go out of the way to make yourself identify as a thug or criminal? So you have to work hard to counter that image. Like I say, you got to get your foot in the door first. And so if they think if you look like a thug, and we know that everybody that looks like a thug is not a thug, but they tend to think that you are a thug if you got pigmentation in your face, okay, and you wear certain clothes or your hair is a certain way. I talked to my youngest son about the same thing. So I don't know the answer, but I know first you got to get in the door, and to get in the door, they have to be able to receive you, and they're not going to receive you if they think their customer base, which is their money, is not going to be receptive to you.
And like you were saying, talking about being able to present yourself well, and people was like sagging their pants in this generation. Do you think like the music industry or just like social images on Instagram or like social media, movies or in music, do you think that plays a big role into our generation?
I think it does, and I think the individuals, many, not all of the individuals who are doing those things that most young people are buying into, is that they do not know their history.
Okay, and I've been sort of experiencing that, and just me, I've been seeing that like it plays a lot of manipulation on us, and if
Mhm.
it's like if it's the only source of our history that we know is like music and
Mhm.
like art, like seeing movies where black men are always abusive,
Mhm.
or like in music they're always rapping about killing, gun violence, and things of that nature, it can play a big toll on us because that's
It gets on your mind, it plays on your mind. So it's, you want to identify, and enforcing society is indirectly trying to make you have a negative image of yourself. Come back to see me next week. Martin Luther King had a friend of mine sent me a quote from one of Martin Luther King's speeches. I said I was gonna put it on my door. I would like to give you a copy of that.
all right, man.
So come back next week,
All right.
and I have that for you, just to carry on to sort of inspire you as individual young future males of color who are going to be role models for the youth come behind you.
All right, man. We appreciate all your time, man. We appreciate you for answering our questions dear heartedly, man. We appreciate you so dearly.
All right, I appreciate you young men trying to get your education, because you could be out with some other students. I know what they're doing, still partying. So you're trying to get your education. I admire you for doing that. Okay.
Thank you, man. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Don't forget to apply for some internships now.
Hey, internships, brother. We got it.
And that's a goodbye from Ethan Palmer.
And that's a goodbye from Zamir Cooper. Have a good day, y'all.
Y'all at the same school?